All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. So today we're going to be diving deep into this whole PlayStation Network outage thing that kind of threw the gaming world for a loop this past Friday.
Yep.
We've got a pretty interesting mix of sources for this one. We've got reports from like the usual gaming news sites like Kotaku.
Sure.
We've got, of course, all the chatter on Reddit and X.
Of course, yeah.
And I even found this piece from the Times of India that I thought was pretty interesting. So, our goal here isn't just to kind of rehash what happened, right? We want to figure out, like, why did this happen? And, like, what does it all mean,
Exactly.
Because this wasn't just, like, a little blip, right? This was a full-on, like, digital blackout.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. This outage really showed us like how much we depend on online services these days for gaming.
Right.
For good or for bad.
Yeah, and the timing of it was just brutal. Like, it all started around, 6 p.m. Eastern on February 7th.
Okay.
With players just reporting these, like, disconnections here and there, and then things just escalated so quickly. Like, by 7 p.m., Down Detector was showing a massive spike in complaints. Like, it peaked at over 68,000.
No way.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not just a few people having a problem, right?
No.
That's like a total meltdown.
Right.
And of course it happens right when everyone's like, okay, it's Friday night, time to game.
Yeah, prime time.
Yeah, exactly.
And think about the people who were like really looking forward to it. Like that Times of India article was talking about how this hit prime gaming hours.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It went late into the evening. Like, imagine you finally get your hands on the new PS5 Pro.
Oh, yeah.
The one you've been waiting for.
Been saving up for.
Yeah. And you can't even set it up. The whole network's down.
It's like the worst, right?
The worst welcome ever to next-gen gaming.
Totally. And it wasn't even just the PS5, right?
Right.
I mean, the PSN status page, it literally confirmed that all LL services were down.
Wow.
Like gaming, the social features, the PlayStation Store.
Oh, the store, too.
Yeah, even account management. PS4, PS Vita, even the new PlayStation Portal, like if it had a PlayStation logo,
wow,
you were just stuck.
You were just done. Just completely cut off.
You're just in digital limbo.
Yeah.
Like, how does that even happen in 2025? Like, haven't we figured out online infrastructure by now?
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, did Sony really learn anything from 2011?
Oh, you mean, the big one?
The big one. That outage that lasted like
23 days.
23 days. It was a cyber attack, remember?
Yeah.
Huge impact.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's different this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully.
It does make you wonder, like.
You do wonder.
If they,
really prepared.
Yeah. If they really, like, took the right steps to make sure it wouldn't happen again. Speaking of, like, what steps they took.
Right.
We should probably talk about Sony's response to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Or
the lack of.
The lack thereof.
Yeah.
Like, their first response was this super vague tweet.
Oh, no.
From Ask PlayStation Japan.
Oh, from Japan.
Yeah. Just like, sorry for the inconvenience, we're investigating.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. And then, like, later on, Sony's main account finally acknowledged that some users might be experiencing issues.
Some users, come on.
I know. They knew it was millions of people.
Like what?
It's such an understatement. It's almost insulting.
Totally. It's like they're totally out of touch with how frustrated everyone was.
Right. And like there was no explanation, no timeline for when things might be fixed.
Oh, wow.
Just silence.
That's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all.
Especially for a company that, they try to be all about the gamers, right?
Yeah, they're always talking about how they're connected to the community and this happens.
And then this happens.
Yeah, it's like getting ghosted on a date.
Totally, except it's like millions of people getting ghosted at the same time on a Friday night.
On a Friday night. Ouch.
Yeah.
And while Sony was, doing the whole silent treatment thing.
Oh, yeah?
Gamers did what they always do, right?
What's that?
They took to Reddit and X.
Yeah.
To vent, to meme, to just...
to commiserate.
Yeah, exactly.
To share their pain.
Yeah, and there's this one comment that I thought was just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It said, literally the worst time of the entire week to do maintenance.
It's true, though.
I know. Friday night is, like, sacred for gaming.
Yeah.
And to just have it ripped away like that.
Yeah. No warning.
No warning.
Just gone.
Yeah, it's no wonder people were so upset.
I mean, I would be too.
Right.
The timing is it's just brutal, especially with everything that was going on in the gaming world.
Yeah.
Like the Monster Hunter Wilds beta was happening.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Huge for fans, right? And the Helldivers 2 patch had just dropped.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, new content, people were excited to play, and then boom,
Yeah, just gone.
everything's down.
Poof.
It just goes to show you how much we take online gaming for granted,
Yeah, we just assume it'll always be there.
It's always there.
Always on, always accessible.
Until it's not.
And then this happens, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone's freaking out.
Not the anger.
All the memes.
Yeah, it really exposes how fragile our digital lives can be.
Totally.
Yeah,
it's like a wake-up call.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, though.
Yeah.
It's not just about, missing out on some fun,
Right.
Like, what about the competitive scene?
Uh-huh.
Esports and all that.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Like Call of Duty, Fortnite, Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, those are huge.
They have whole tournaments and live streams. People are making money.
It's a whole industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this outage just, threw a wrench in everything.
Totally disrupted everything.
Yeah, events got put on hold. Who knows how much money people lost?
Yeah, and it's like all those articles I was reading, like Kotaku and stuff.
Yeah.
They really captured that feeling of just being stuck,
Oh, totally.
Like you're just in this digital limbo.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going on.
And Sony's not saying anything.
It just makes the anxiety worse, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to be a quick fix? Or are we talking another 2011 situation?
Right. Nobody knows.
Ugh.
It's so frustrating.
Especially for people who, depend on this stuff for their living,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Streamers, pro players.
Content creators, all of that.
Yeah, their whole income is tied to this.
It's wild.
It is wild.
But speaking of wild, we got to talk about the social media reactions.
Oh, yeah, the memes.
The memes. Reddit and X were just on fire.
People were losing it.
I know, it was amazing.
It was like this collective venting session.
Yeah, everyone was just coming together to share their pain and laugh about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of healthy, right? I mean, got to find the humor in these situations.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, some of those memes were gold.
What was that one? The one about...
Oh, the one about the wife and kids?
Yes. Oh, am I supposed to do? Interact with my wife and children? Disgusting.
I was dying.
It's so true, though, right? In a way...
I mean, it's obviously a joke.
Of course, of course.
But it does say something about how much gaming has become a part of our lives.
Totally. It's not just a hobby anymore. It's like a social thing.
Yeah, it's how we connect with people.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It's a way to relax, de-stress.
Yeah, it's an escape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when that's taken away, it's like this huge void.
And people don't know what to do with themselves.
So they go online, they make memes, they rant.
They find a way to cope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, really.
It is.
It shows how much this stuff matters to people,
It's not just about the games.
It's about the connections, the community.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Sony's silence so much worse.
Oh, for sure.
They're ignoring the human element of all this.
Totally. It's like they don't understand the impact this has on people's lives.
They're just thinking about the bottom line.
Well, speaking of the bottom line,
Okay, yeah.
let's not forget about the financial implications of this whole thing.
Right.
The PlayStation Store was down.
So no digital purchases?
No microtransactions, no impulse buys.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's a huge revenue stream for Sony. Just gone.
Just like that.
And the Times of India article, they were pointing out the PlayStation Direct was down too.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you couldn't even buy a console if you wanted to.
Wow. They really shut down everything.
Everything. It's crazy.
What could have caused this?
Right. That's the million-dollar question.
Some people on Reddit are already saying it's another cyber attack.
Oh, really? 2011?
Yeah, they're drawing parallels.
I mean, it's possible.
It's hard not to think that, especially with how quiet Sony's being.
The longer they stay silent, the more those rumors are going to spread. Exactly. They need to just address it head on.
Be transparent. Tell people what's going on.
Reassure everyone that they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, because right now all we have is speculation.
DDoS attack, server overload, who knows?
It could be anything.
But the lack of information is just making things worse.
It's eroding trust.
Exactly.
They need to step up and give people some answers.
It's almost like they're hoping it'll just blow over.
Yeah, people will forget and move on.
But it's not that simple anymore.
Gamers are demanding accountability.
They want to know what happened, why it happened.
And what's being done to prevent it from happening again.
It's about more than just this one incident.
It's about how companies control our digital lives.
And how they handle these situations when things go wrong.
This outage has really brought that to the forefront.
For sure.
It's going to be interesting to see how Sony handles this whole PR mess.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do.
But beyond the immediate fallout, This situation raises some really interesting questions about the future of online gaming.
Oh, okay. I like where this is going.
Like, think about it. This outage exposed the vulnerability of this centralized online gaming model.
Right, right.
We've put all our eggs in one basket, and when that basket breaks,
Everything goes down with it.
exactly. It makes you wonder if a more decentralized model might be better.
Okay, so like a system where one outage doesn't affect everything.
Yeah, exactly. More resilience, more flexibility.
That's an interesting idea. But wouldn't that come with its own challenges?
Oh, for sure.
Like, what about security? Wouldn't a decentralized system be harder to protect?
That's a good point, yeah. It's a trade-off.
Right.
More resilience, but maybe more vulnerabilities.
It's a tough problem.
It is, but it's something the industry needs to think about.
Yeah, especially with how reliant we're becoming on online services.
It's only going to get more important.
Totally. This whole thing is a reminder that technology, no matter how advanced,
Yeah.
it's not perfect.
It can fail.
And when it does, the stakes are high.
Higher than ever.
So what can Sony and other companies like them learn from this? How can they do better?
I think, honestly, the first thing they got to do is just talk to people.
Yeah, communication is key.
Right, exactly. Just be upfront with the gamers, you know?
Be honest.
Yeah, be honest and just keep people updated.
Even if they don't have all the answers right away.
Yeah, just acknowledge that there's a problem and let people know they're working on it.
Transparency, right?
Totally. It builds trust, and Sony needs to rebuild that trust right now.
Yeah, because that silence, it just made everything worse.
So much worse.
It's like, it's not even the mistake itself, it's how you handle it, you know?
Exactly. There's so many examples of companies who've messed up,
Oh, yeah.
but they were open about it, and people were more forgiving.
Like, what about when name of company Redacted had that big data breach a few years back?
Oh yeah, that was a mess.
But they owned up to it, they explained what happened, what they were doing to fix it.
And they offered compensation to the people who were affected.
Yeah. It wasn't perfect, but it showed they cared.
Exactly. Sony could have learned a lot from that.
Seriously, just a little bit of honesty would have gone a long way.
Absolutely.
This whole thing, though, it makes you think about bigger issues, too, you know?
Yeah. For sure.
Like, we've talked about centralization, but there's also this whole question of how much we depend on online gaming in general.
Right. It's so convenient, but what happens when it's not there anymore?
Like, this outage, it's a reminder that we're putting all our faith in these online services.
And they can fail.
Yeah. And maybe that's a wake-up call for everyone.
Maybe it's time to rethink things a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe explore more offline options, you know?
Diversify our gaming habits.
So we're not completely at the mercy of the internet.
Right. It's about finding a balance.
Yeah. Enjoy the benefits of online gaming, the social aspect, the community.
But don't forget about the potential downsides.
And maybe, you know, dust off those old single-player games every once in a
A
while.
little bit of offline time never hurt anyone.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the PSN meltdown, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest thing is just to be aware, you know?
Aware of what?
Aware of the risks that come with these always online services.
Like the convenience comes at a price.
Exactly. And that price can be pretty high when things go wrong.
There's Outage. It was a pain, but it's a good reminder to have some backup plans.
And maybe even, you know, take a little break from the digital world sometime.
A little digital detox.
Exactly.
Well said. That's all the time we have for this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you found it informative and maybe even a little bit entertaining. Don't forget to join the conversation on our social media. Share your thoughts, your outage stories, whatever's on your mind. And until next time, stay curious and happy gaming.